Every week, there's another story about how some asset shot up triple digits in a short amount of time. Those are outliers, and the truth is that most of us will never ride one of those waves that turn a few grand into $1 million in less than a year. But that doesn't mean you can't get rich over a longer period. While most assets have appreciated in value over the last century, our purchasing power hasn't changed. Sure, wages have increased, but so has inflation. End result, if you don't invest, it's more likely that you lose money over the long term. But investing is difficult because it goes against human nature. But there is a solution to that: Stoicism. At its core, Stoicism is a survival strategy. It's a way of protecting your sanity. But you can also apply Stoicism to protect your money. The foundation of Stoicism is based on the principle of knowing what's inside your control and what's outside your control. But contrary to what most people think, Stoics embraced money and wealth. After all, it's something we have no control over. One of the most hardcore Stoics, Epictetus, said, "If you can make money remaining honest, trustworthy, and dignified, by all means do it. But you don't have to make money if you have to compromise your integrity." Here are 6 Stoic principles for financial success. Rule 1: earn more money. While you don't have to be rich to get started with investing, you need to earn more than you spend on necessities. To earn more in our economy, we need income-generating skills like writing, coding, speaking, leading, etc. Acquiring skills is the most Stoic thing you can do because you start by focusing on what you control. And in today's economy, a person who can create value with their skills will never be without a job for a long time. Every investor that I've studied started earning a living by putting in the work. Most of them had jobs working for someone else. Warren Buffett worked as a securities analyst at Graham Newman from 1954 to 1956. He started his own partnership after that. George Soros pursued multiple academic degrees between 1947 and 1954. Then he took a job as a clerk at a small investment bank. I can go on forever, but you get the point. We all need to get started with earning money as the foundation of wealth building. It means you can create value from nothing but your skills. Rule 2: find someone you respect and use them to stay focused. Human beings are good at adapting to behaviors of their role models. Therefore, it is worth your time to find someone whose behavior you want to emulate. This doesn't even have to be someone you know. I know of people who model their investing decisions on Warren Buffett. Before they make any trades or financial decisions, they simply think, what would Warren Buffett do? Warren Buffett does a good job communicating to everyone like he did in his 2013 letter to shareholders, where he dropped this knowledge. My advice to the trustee couldn't be more simple. Put 10% of the cash in short-term government bonds and 90% in a very low-cost S&P 500 index fund. I suggest Vanguard's. I believe the trust's long-term results from this policy will be superior to those attained by most investors, whether pension funds, institutions, or individuals who employ high-fee managers. Rule 3: reflect on what you spend the most time on. Stoics believe that our lives are what our thoughts make it. Have you ever noticed that you can't feel angry unless you first think angry thoughts? Go ahead and try it now. Our feelings and actions are a direct result of our thoughts. If you want a certain life, you must consider where, when, and how you are spending your time. This applies to investing as well. If you spend all of your time watching financial markets, you will end up concerned about the latest financial crises or disaster. Therefore, it pays to take a step back and think about how you want to spend your time and energy in order to achieve a certain goal. Stoics try not to concern themselves with the drama of life because they know it will only serve to unsettle their own emotions. One way to apply this to your financial life would be to ask, have you done the basic steps you know you need to do to achieve financial success? Is your 401k set up and optimized? Are all of your financial accounts in order? Make sure you are spending time on the things that have been proven to be successful. Rule 4: acknowledge that your emotions come from within. Marcus Aurelius, 2nd century emperor of Rome and leading Stoic, said you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Of course, he wasn't thinking of financial markets, but we can apply the same concept in investing. You may be guilty of overreacting to outside events. but you have no control over outside events. None. So why waste any time worrying about those events? That is not a productive use of your time. Instead, focus on gaining power over your own mind and your reaction to outside events. As an investor, you must learn to stay on your course and not be influenced by market noises. Rule 5. Learn to cope with losing money. There's one critical aspect of wealth that mainstream books and articles don't cover, and that is the importance of dealing with loss. The majority of people hate to lose money. Growing up, our family lived paycheck to paycheck, and we were up to our neck in debt. As I grew older and started earning my own money, I started holding on to it for dear life. This is a problem if you're serious about investing. I can't think of a single successful investor who did not lose money. In fact, the strategies of the majority of investors I mentioned are shaped by their losses. For Warren Buffett, Berkshire Hathaway started as a failed textile company. Bill Ackman lost big on his short against Herbalife. George Soros lost 22% in 1981 on British government bonds, etc. Their biggest successes often came after their losses. This is a critical concept in building wealth. You must be okay with losing. Otherwise, you will never take risk with your money. The best investors look at wealth building as a game. It's just like sports. Even the most successful teams in the history of the NBA, NFL, MLB will lose multiple games on their path to a championship. The key is to never lose big. When you invest, do everything you can to never lose more than 10% of your investment. You can always come back from that. Just because there are different investment philosophies, it doesn't mean you need to religiously follow a particular style. Use your common sense, protect the downside, and most importantly, build up your investments slowly. Rule 6. Imagine the worst possible outcome. One of the ways Stoics become comfortable with uncertainty and risk is by imagining the worst possible outcome. If you're thinking about quitting your job and starting a business, think about the worst possible outcome. Could you lose all of your money? Would people laugh at you? Would you be homeless? And then what would happen? Would you allow yourself to stay in that state forever? Would you figure out a way to bounce back? Often, the exercise of imagining the worst possible result will help you see that most risks are not nearly as risky as we think. Lastly, start investing and stop looking for more answers. At some point, you must take action. We tend to keep searching for that special piece of wisdom that makes the difference. So we keep reading more books, listening to more podcasts, and following the different investing sages. As a result, we never take action, and we become our own worst enemy. No one said it better than Epictetus. Quit chasing after tonics and new teachers. The latest fashionable sage or book or diet or belief doesn't move you in the direction of a flourishing life. You do. Until you take your own money and put it on the line, you never know what it feels like to invest. In the long term, markets still move in one direction, up. You either take the ride up or you stay where you are. Most of us don't have the desire to become full-time investors who want to beat the market. In the long term, you're better off putting your money in something like an S&P 500 or a total stock market index fund. It's the best way to get market returns without any effort. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.